Darkside Phil here, and welcome to the weekend preview for November 25th, 2012. Got a lot of information to cover, and a lot of information that's important that I really haven't talked about up to now because I want to clarify a particular situation. So I hope that you will bear with me in this video. The very first thing that I want to reiterate, which I told you, I warned you last week, this is going to happen every week. I have a new channel on YouTube that is currently being partnered. It's in the process of partnership with Machinima. It is called The King of Hate Vlogs. Starting in 2013, there are some big changes coming to all of my content here on YouTube. One of which is that I'm separating this style of vlog video, this weekend preview in particular, from the DSPGaming channel. This will now be found over on this King of Hate Vlogs channel. And I can't emphasize enough, if you subscribe now, you're already set. You will be ready when I start posting content over there, and you'll be notified immediately in your subs box. So right now about 6,000 people have headed over there and subscribed. I know there's a good 20,000 people who very consistently watch my vlog style videos. So please continue to head over there and subscribe. In 2013, that's where all my vlog style videos are going, including new series, older series I'm reviving like DSP Tries It. There's going to be a lot of content over there. And this way it separates it from my gameplay footage, so you can subscribe to that channel and you'll only see my vlog videos and they won't get lost in the shuffle here with my gameplay, okay? So definitely, please go subscribe to the King of Hate Vlogs. Okay. Now, before we get to the recap and before we get to what's coming this week, I want to tell you about something that happened this week that's very important. I want to be perfectly clear with everyone so there's no misconceptions and no misunderstandings about what's going on right now. As you know, as I spoke of several times in the past several months, Magfest. This was a gaming convention that we attended very early in 2012. Had a blast. We actually had our very first panel there where we announced Project 7. We had a screening of the show. People loved it. We also had a vendor table there where we were selling Project 7 shirts. OJ was there to show his candles and sell his candles. We had a hell of a lot of fun. We even met hundreds of fans when we were out there. It was great. Okay? This year, Magfest has grown in size exponentially, okay? And I guess what ended up happening was they sold out of vendor tables extremely early, but no one was aware of it. And from what I'm actually being told, there are people who have gone to Magfest every single year and been a part of the vendor area who this year are basically asked out because they sold out of vendor tables like early. And no one was aware of this, and I went to submit for a vendor table a couple months ago and was told, sorry, you're on the wait list, like, we sold out a long time ago. I was like, wow, that's nuts. Last year, that didn't happen. Last year I submitted for a vendor table late, and I got it, no problem. This year, completely different situation. So, basically we were like, alright, so we understand we're not going to have a vendor table, but at least if we get our panel, that would be cool. The plan was that it was going to be myself, John Rambo, OJ, and Panda Lee on the panel. We were all going to talk a little bit. I was going to talk a little bit about my history on YouTube. We were going to announce some new projects. I was actually planning to screen one of my new shows that was going to happen starting in hopefully January on my King of Hate Vlogs channel. And possibly even show some behind-the-scenes footage of Project 7 that we filmed way back when that I was going to plan to start releasing possibly also on that channel next year. And we all had plans. John Rambo also. Him and OJ had stuff they were going to debut, and Panda Lee had stuff she wanted to talk about that she'll be doing on her channel. Well, unfortunately last week I got the notification from Magfest that we were denied a panel this year. Now there was no elaboration. It was just basically a generic form letter email saying, sorry, you didn't get a panel. So basically, I did some research, I looked into it, I talked to many different people involved with Magfest, and here's what I discovered, just to clarify for everybody. Magfest this year did increase exponentially in size. It looks like, once again, they're going to have way more attendees than they did last year. They had over 200 submissions for panels. I think it was something like 250 or something like that total, out of which they could only accept 90, okay? My panel was not one that was selected this year. And obviously, I wanted to know what was going on. I mean, I had a successful panel last year. They loved having me there. They thanked me. They said it was great. They got positive feedback from my fans who were there and who met with me and greeted us and went to our panel. And then subsequently, I made 70 videos of Magfest coverage, which I'm going to be completely honest, and I hope some people don't think that like I'm boasting or anything like that, because by no means am I trying to do that, but thousands upon thousands of people saw Magfest for the first time in my videos, and I would have to think that probably at least a couple hundred, if not more, people are going to Magfest this year simply because they saw me promote the hell out of it last year in my videos leading up to Magfest, and then actually my coverage of Magfest, okay? In fact, as you know, if you're a fan of Project 7, I actually was, I contacted two of the bands that I had recorded during Magfest. We had a business relationship where I used their music during the series of Project 7, and they actually got a big view boost and a big boost on their Bandcamp pages. So it all went hand in hand. We met, and it had new people, it worked out for our series, it worked out for a lot of things, and everyone made out. So it made no sense to me that my panel wouldn't have been selected again this year. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. Plus, the fact that I had so many attendees, I guarantee you that my panel had more attendees and would have had more attendees than all 90 of these panels that Magfest has approved for this year. So I contacted them, they got back to me, and I had a 1-hour-long Skype call with the head of public relations for Magfest. And to be completely honest with you, after the call, it's still not 100% clear how they chose the panels that they did. It almost seems like they just willy-nilly pick stuff that they think sounds good. They basically blatantly admitted to me that yes, there will be lots of panels who will not have nearly as many people as those who attended mine last year, but they enjoy that because they like to be the convention that promotes variety, and therefore, even though there may be a panel about some niche game or indie scene or something that only has a dozen attendees, at least they're the convention that can say, well, we're the convention that has that kind of stuff, okay? I didn't particularly like that answer, because obviously, being a businessman, I know that makes absolutely no sense. Then again, Magfest is kind of like the anti-business convention, meaning they don't want sponsorship, they don't want Microsoft or Intel or anyone going in there and trying to take over the convention with any kind of sponsorship. They don't even allow sponsors with the convention. And therefore, they do things a lot differently than other conventions, and I understand that. They're basically the indie scene of conventions when you think about it. So I basically talked with them for quite a while about it at length, explained to them why I was so upset, the fact particularly for me that it's not like I can get up and go to any convention. First of all, there are a hell of a lot of gaming conventions out there. Most of the ones that are out there end up being things like E3 where no common guy can get into it. I don't have sponsorship that I can go in and get some company to say, hey, get Phil into the convention or anything like that. And that Magfest was one of the two conventions this year that I attended that I got to meet and greet with my fans on a personal level, and I loved it so much that to have that taken away from me was very upsetting, okay? And then I'm going to be honest with everyone. I, very upfront, asked them a question which I don't think they were ready for, and I said, gee, I see that on your guest list this year, and also, guess who's having a panel at your convention? The Game Grumps. Gee, isn't it funny that the Game Grumps, who do exactly what I do, are at your convention this year, and probably that panel is going to be exactly similarly to what I would have done with my panel, and they got approved and I didn't. And to that, they were like, duh, 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 duh. Didn't have a legit answer, okay? The bottom line is what I really think happened this year was last year, they had someone like me at their event, and they realized, wow, a big gaming YouTuber was here, and he had a pretty decent panel and whatever. And then this year, for whatever reason, they got in contact with someone with the Game Grumps, and the Game Grumps were interested in because they're the new hot thing. They're the new, the newest gaming thing on YouTube, the newest fad, that they said, oh, we got to have that, and so they snatched it up, and of course, then when they look at the rest of the list and they see me on there, oh, well, they're kind of similar, and they kind of threw me off the list. That's what I think happened. They didn't confirm that. They basically just said, oh, I don't think there was any time when directly we thought about the Game Grumps versus DSP, and we decided that it was going to be them over you. No, of course not. I don't think it was. I think you approved them before you ever even saw me on your list for a panel, if you want my honest opinion. I think that's really what happened. So, am I disappointed? Absolutely. And here's the real situation. If there is no chance that we can have a vendor table, if there's no chance that we can have a panel, the only way we could basically meet up with fans is like a random occurrence. Come try to meet us in a hallway at 2 o'clock or we'll try to meet in the central hall of the Gaylord. Not that anyone's going to know where the hell that is. Not that there's going to be a guarantee that there's anywhere to sit. And this is kind of what Magfest was pushing on me. Why don't you just try to have a random meetup with your fans at a random location and time during the convention? To which I said, it's not professional. It's not fair to the fans if they come out and then they can't find me because it's such a disorganized thing that you're telling me to do. But I'll also be honest, and I was honest with them, my back. Right now my back's fucked up, okay? It is. It's not in a great condition. It was great up to Hurricane Sandy. Something happened during that hurricane. My back's been hurting me a lot. It is getting very slowly better over time, and this has happened before. It's going to take a while. Eventually it'll feel better again, okay? For me to risk an 8-hour drive to go to Magfest, okay, and attend their festival, to risk that with my back, number one, is risky, and we did it last year and pulled it off without a hitch, but after Magfest my back was shot. But for me to do it again, with no guarantee that I'm even going to have a significant amount of time or an opportunity to meet with my fans, it's not worth it. It's a major health risk. If I had a panel, I could say, well, even if my back's completely fucked up the whole time, at least for that 1 hour, I'll be at the panel, so my fans will have a chance to meet me. Now that I have no central location, no central area to do anything because they've denied me a vendor table and a panel, I'm basically asked out. And I'm sorry, I apologize to all the fans. I'm basically asked out. And I talked it out with John Rambo, and we basically decided that if there isn't some kind of a decision that overchanges this, the fact that we're not going to have a vendor table or panel, that we're probably not going. And I know that's disappointing to a lot of people. Again, I know I met so many people at Magfest last year that we're probably going to come back again this year. The only thing I can say is this. That's life. Sometimes you have disappointments. This is just another setback for me that, unfortunately, I thought I had built up this great relationship with these people, and I did nothing but positive stuff for them. Do I feel like this is kind of a slap in the face? Yes, I do. I think that they need to be a lot more conscious of how they treat their guests, that you're going to have a great experience one year and then completely write them off the next year without any chance or any even kind of personal contact. I had to go out of my way to get an explanation of why I was denied, and the fact that there literally is no consideration for the fact that because I helped them out last year by promoting their con, that they just don't give a shit. And if you really want my honest opinion, Magfest right now exponentially is growing every year. The reason they're growing exponentially every year is because the gaming industry is booming. So right now they're in an attitude that, oh well, we can do whatever we want and we're going to have more attendees anyway. Like, we could literally fuck people over left and right and no one gives a shit because we're still going to have a retarded amount of attendees because gaming is this new cool thing in culture. I remember when gaming was a niche thing. You admitted that you were a gamer and people made fun of you like you were a nerd. Now it's like the cool thing, the in thing to be a gamer, and that's why Magfest is blowing up the way it is. Give it 5-10 years, when the industry starts to stagnate, maybe their mindset will change. But the problem is, by then, is anyone going to care? Is anyone who they've, kind of spurned like me? And by the way, I'm not the only person in this situation this year. I actually found out there's about 5 people who, not me, but who traditionally have had big panels at Magfest, who they decided to just deny flat out this year, even though they were also big proponents and they were advertising and helping out the convention every year, and they just turned them down this year. So, it is what it is. It looks like I can't change it, okay? But what I can say is, this is a great opportunity for people. If you were going to go to Magfest, you were looking forward to Magfest and the panel and a vendor table, and you were looking forward to meet up with us, contact Magfest. That's all I can say. Like, even though it probably won't do anything, if they realize that there is this dedicated fan base that wanted to do this and they're disappointed that Magfest made this kind of boneheaded decision, you got to voice yourself. So whether or not you write them an email, they've got several contact emails on their website. The panel's email was panels@magfest.org. That's who I was communicating through. You can tweet them at Magfest. That's their Twitter. I mean, this is your voice. This is your ability to voice your opinion. This is the cool thing about social media and the way that the world is changing with the internet, is that you can now voice your opinion, and if you're disappointed, by all means do so that they understand that they made a fuck up this year, and that next year, hopefully, they will approve anything that we would like. Okay? So that's it. I know I've already talked way too long now about Magfest, but I had to get it off my chest. I had to basically tell the truth on the whole situation, and I didn't want any misconceptions where, because I'm not talking about it for an extended period of time, that people just assume that we're definitely going. The chances are right now we're probably not going, unless some miracle happens and they change their minds. We're not going. Okay, so that's that. That's it on that subject, okay? Alright, so now let's talk about the week in preview. Holy shit. This past week has been insane. With the release of the Wii U and all the launch day footage that John Rambo and I put out, between my playthrough of Scribblenauts Unlimited, between our start of the playthrough of New Super Mario Bros. U, which people are very much enjoying, and John Rambo and I are very much enjoying playing, and between the fact that some games like those two are pretty good, some games like maybe Sonic All-Stars Racing are kind of eh, and then you got a game like Zombie U that in my opinion is horrible. Zombie U, in my opinion, is the next Dark Souls. It's a game that requires repeated grinding. It's a game that doesn't hold your hand at all. It's a game that basically is extremely difficult just for the sake of being difficult, so that you can say, oh, this is a challenging and accomplishing game. And that's stupid and boring. When I have to replay the same 5 to 10 minutes of gameplay 100 times over, when the game just keeps respawning 10 zombies over and over, and I'm supposed to kill them with a fucking cricket bat that takes 8 hits to kill each one, the game sucks, okay? In my opinion, the game sucks. I only did like 14 parts. I couldn't even stand to play it anymore. That game is like everyone said this, it's the Red Steel of the Wii U. Just like Red Steel was this game, oh, this is great, it's going to be a groundbreaking game for the Wii, the first game where you're going to use motion controls like this, and then everyone got it and the game sucked ass. I really feel that Zombie U is Red Steel. It had massive potential. Ubisoft didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They made a game that's just tedious, repetitive, and too fucking difficult for what it is, and it's a horrible game. I really feel that a lot of people are going to buy the Wii U as a Christmas present, you know, and get, oh, I want Zombie U. They're going to play it first day. They're going to say, fuck, this sucks. This is horrible. Now I have nothing to play on this system. I got this system for nothing. Alright, so it's been a big week for Wii U, but also this week I played some PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, which I played quite a lot of online. I actually played the game offline to make sure that I experienced all the modes. I reviewed it. Very controversial review. I love the people who read the review and say, Phil is completely wrong. Okay, sure, I'm completely wrong. Even though I reviewed it objectively, I gave valid reasons for my feelings on the game. I played the game a significant amount. It wasn't like I played it for 5 minutes. I played the first day 45 online ranked matches. I played another 3 major sets with three different characters that I focused on to try to learn their strategies. And then offline, I actually played every night, 3 nights in a row. On my PS Vita, I played like 20 to 30 matches on the Vita every night to try to learn more about the game before I reviewed the game. But apparently people still say, I'm not qualified, I shouldn't have reviewed the game. Fuck off, okay? Bottom line is, I think the game is good as a party game, as a fun game. The game is not balanced. Basically, the way to kill people with only a super, and some people have unbalanced supers, makes it a non-competitive game. The game was fun. It's a cool game for if you're just going to mess around with your friends, but to take it seriously is a joke, okay? And that was my review. I reviewed it actually very well, the game, scored it very well, but people, oh my god, I can't believe that he doesn't kiss the game's ass, I think it's a competitive game, he's an idiot, whatever. Listen, I used to be a competitive fighting gamer. I think I know better than honestly, than the majority of people who are just Sony fanboys, and the only reason they're really defending the game is because it's fucking PlayStation All-Stars and not something else. Okay, so all that happened this week, plus I finished The Walking Dead. That's right, episode 5, extremely heart-wrenching this episode. Everything came full circle, finished the story of Season 1 of The Walking Dead for me. One of the most emotional playthroughs I've ever done, I'll openly admit it. I actually cried during the playthrough. That never happens, and I did. I teared up during the playthrough. Definitely check it out yet if you haven't. And check out my review of the entire Season 1 of The Walking Dead, which also is live. I did do a Hateful Truth review of that, okay? So, today, I focused on Hitman Absolution, finally. Yes, I know, it's been a while since it came out, but I haven't had a chance to play it. I finally started it today, played it for about 30 parts, loving it right now. I really like the fact that there's major different ways to do these things. The fact that most of the time you shouldn't even be using your gun. There's creative ways to do things outside of just shooting people. Really like that. And enjoying the story as well. So, having fun. Ooh, I really like the game. I'm burping like crazy, and that will continue tomorrow. Not the burping, although that probably will continue as well. The gameplay of Hitman Absolution will continue tomorrow. I'll try to see how far I can get, and if I don't beat it on Monday, I'm probably more than likely going to beat it on Tuesday, and I'll be able to beat it and review it. So, that's the focus for early this week, Hitman Absolution. On Wednesday, Pandali is coming to visit. Yes, I know, it seems like she just left, but that in actuality is the truth, because remember, she was stuck here for an extra week that she didn't intend to be here last month because of Hurricane Sandy. Well, she's coming to visit on Wednesday, so on Wednesday we're officially doing our Christmas special celebration, or I should call it the holiday special, where what we're going to do is we're going to put up my Christmas tree, and I'm going to, as I do every year, during that I'm going to talk a lot about things that happened this year, my feelings about the things that happened, whether it's just my general feelings about things in myself and my gaming channels, whether it's my feeling about the industry as a whole. I'm going to talk a lot of stuff. Every year I do this. Pandily will be doing it with me, just to warn you, but it's going to be primarily kind of the same kind of content that I do every year in my Christmas videos, so definitely check that out, okay? And then starting on Thursday, I believe we're going to start Epic Mickey 2. Or at least we're going to try, because I'll be honest, John Rambo and I did 30 minutes of gameplay of this game. We fucking hated it already. So, when you hate a game within the first 30 minutes, like, you know it's going to be kind of bad. I've already heard the game's 20 hours long, and you know that we're not going to want to play it non-stop, you know, to get through it if the game's bad. So what we're going to do is, starting on Thursday, we'll probably do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every day. We'll be doing some of Epic Mickey 2, so definitely check that out this whole week. That's what you're going to be seeing here. A lot of people liked my Epic Mickey 1 playthrough for all the wrong reasons, meaning I didn't like the game. I really thought the game was poorly designed. Really looks like Epic Mickey 2 is kind of the same, and people loved watching because it was all about rage, about how the game fucked up repeatedly, and it did. That game fucked up so many times. The camera's fucking up, the frame rate's fucking up, the game's locking up and crashing and having bugs and all kinds of stupid shit. People loved the playthrough. I think you're going to see a hell of a lot more of that coming up this week with this one, okay? So definitely check that out. And then, let me think ahead here. And then, Pandily is actually returning back home on Monday of next week, okay? Not tomorrow, but Monday of next week. And when she does, that's when that Tuesday, Far Cry 3 comes out. And I'm going to be starting my own playthrough of Far Cry 3. This time, Far Cry 3, I've decided to do it solo, okay? I know that there's co-op in the game, but at this point, I've done so many games co-op over the past several months during the hardcore gaming season. Number one, it always seems whenever I do one, people complain for one reason or another. I don't like the co-op. I can't hear the voices online. I don't like the people you pick. I don't like this. I don't like that. Well, I'm just going to do a solo playthrough, as this will be my final major game of the hardcore gaming season. So expect that coming up after Pandali's visit, okay? And then we're going to be heading into, that's right, it's actually going to be that time, we're heading into the end of the year, my year-end series, and I've got a bunch of cool stuff planned, including, and I know I'm almost out of time in this video, so very quickly I need to go run, oh shit, I need to go run and get this listing, because I think you guys will be really interested in some of this stuff. Now keep in mind that already the series that I've decided we're going to have are, number one, the fan-voted funniest moments. And so, if you want to nominate any more moments from this past week in particular, especially because of all the Wii U stuff with the Hitman stuff, you may want to nominate new stuff. I will link it in the description of this thread. I will link the thread in the description of this video where you can nominate things, and then probably when Pandally is done visiting, I'm going to close that off, I'm going to create the polls, and we're going to have voting for like a week where people can vote on the funniest moments, okay? But in the meantime, while people are voting on that stuff, there's also going to be a series where John Rambo and I are going to pick our favorite matches that we simulated in WWE games this past year, and we're going to have like a top 10 or top 5 our favorite matches of that, okay? That's going to be a year-end series. I'm also going to do the top 10 most disappointing games of 2012. And the reason I'm doing this is actually, I think it's the most pertinent year for it. Since I've been doing videos on YouTube, this year was an extremely disappointing year for gamers, because so many games that seemed to have massive potential fell flat on their face and either didn't fulfill the promise that they were trying to make, or otherwise they just weren't very good. So I'm going to have the top 10 most disappointing games of 2012. I'm going to have the worst gaming trends of 2012. I do this every year. It's either like the worst moments or the worst gaming trends. So this year it's going to be more worst gaming trends, and boy do we have a lot to talk about there. I'm also going to do the most surprisingly good games of 2012. That's right, I'm going to do a countdown of games that probably no one expected to be good, or maybe games that kind of fell under the radar, but actually I played them and I loved them. Okay? So those are 3 original series that we're going to do for the end of the year. Plus, of course, by the end of the year, I'll be starting my Game of the Year awards for 2012 that I do every year. So we're going to have a jam-packed month in December where we're going to have all this new content of this year-end stuff. Plus, more than likely, I will be doing some more gameplay every day, whether it's I have Sonic All-Stars I can play more of, whether it's I maybe might go get more Wii U games. If you remember, there are newer games coming out. There's actually Warriors of Roach E3, which they didn't have at GameStop when I went there, and I was interested to try that out with the Wii U and see how the game utilized the Wii U. But there will be more games coming up by the end of the year, and there's also lots of stuff I never got to. I mean, there's Darksiders 2 DLCs. There's so many DLCs. Oh, the Borderlands 2 co-op DLCs. The 2 of them have come out already that I haven't had a chance to do. This is just off the top of my head. I know there's a lot of stuff that's happened over the past couple of weeks. Oh, one other thing. I know some people are saying to me, Phil, when are you going to do the Mass Effect 3 Omega DLC? It's coming out supposedly this week. Well, I don't know, because I'm playing Hitman Absolution. If I beat it quickly, maybe I'll have time to slip in the Mass Effect 3 DLC. If not, maybe I'll do it along with Far Cry 3 that week. But that's what I mean. Like, there's all this stuff now building up at the end of the year that I'm going to use to fill in the time in December. So I'll have some gameplay every day and then some videos from a year-end series every day. And I think people are really going to enjoy it, okay? Okay, that's it for a very long-winded weekend preview. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. Please join me. First of all, thank you so much for the great views this past week. It really gave me a boost to know that so many people were interested in the Wii U and being there along with me with it and enjoying it, because that was a big investment. I mean, that was a new console, a shit ton of games and accessories. I mean, I spent like something like $700 on the damn thing, but the views are showing that people are enjoying it and they are appreciative that I am testing it out so that they know whether or not they want it, and I really thank you for that. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great right now. I can't wait to play more Hitman. Can't wait to try Epic Mickey 2, and we'll go from there. So, thanks a lot for watching the Weekend Preview. I'll see you for new gameplay this week. Peace.